Hello, and thank you for tuning in to the Indiana State Police Roadshow. I'm your host, Sergeant John Perrine, the Public Information Officer for the Indiana State Police Indianapolis District. The Roadshow is brought to you by the Indiana State Police Alliance and Cops for Kids, a subsidiary of the State Police Alliance. For more information about our sponsor, visit www.indianasfinest.com. If you are seeing us on YouTube, it is thanks to our good friend Tom Trial, who does such amazing work to make us look way better on TV than we do in person. And I also want to thank good friend Eddie Griffith of the show for pushing the record button and getting us out on the radio waves here in the studio. We sure appreciate our partnerships that help us make this show possible. My guest today, some familiar faces, but they always have a lot of good information, and that is Sergeant Dean Wildauer from the Human Resources Recruiting Division, and also Sergeant Katie Salzman from the Recruiting Human Resources. So welcome to the show.
Thank you
for having us.
I'll tell you, I think across the country, law enforcement agencies right now are struggling. We're fighting for those applications. Used to the thousands of applications would come in for a few spots, and so if you know somebody that wants to be a police officer, Dean, now is the time.
Oh, absolutely. If you've been thinking about a career in law enforcement, or if you've applied before, even if you've applied before, I mean, it used to be a pretty, like you said, the numbers were staggering of the number of applicants we'd receive, and those are down for several reasons. We're not going to get into the social part of it, but they're down. So now if you're interested in becoming a police officer, you get a hold of one of our recruiters. There's 3 of us in the state, or one of our employment specialists. Sergeant Salzman here, she's an employment specialist. She can help you out with any information
or
you need.
Any trooper you see out in public driving down the road, you flag them down and say, hey, I want some information.
Absolutely. And it's easy, man. You Google indianatrooper.com. I mean, It's going to take you to, it's a one-stop shop that our employment specialists set up, and you go there. You can do anything from a ride-along to look at an internship to apply to be an Indiana State Trooper, which we're hoping to open up the beginning of next year.
Very, very good. And Katie, one cool thing that we offer with the Indiana State Police before you decide you want to be a police officer is an internship. So those college students out there that are just looking for an internship, the Indiana State Police has one, and you don't even have to be a criminal justice major to do it.
Correct. Yeah, it's a very robust program. I'm maybe a little biased because I was an intern before I became a trooper. So, but it is a great program. It's extremely experiential. You're not going to be getting people coffee or pulling staples or anything like that. We put you out in the cars with the troopers, and you do what they do for the day. So if they're, writing traffic tickets or taking people to jail, that's what you're doing. If they're going to some training, if it's a detective, it's a canine officer, you are spending the day with them and doing what they do. So it's a great program for college students who are kind of looking, maybe they think law enforcement is something they're interested in. This will be either a way to say, nope, that's not for me, or absolutely, I'm in. This is what I want to do.
One great thing about the Indiana State Police that I always tell people is if you see it on TV, we have it. We were probably the only agency in the state that has every aspect, all the way from the criminal and the traffic stuff to our lab, our civilian employees who run our forensic lab. So you get so many people that say, hey, I think I want to be a forensic scientist. Would this internship benefit somebody who maybe doesn't want to be a police officer, but they want to be on the forensic side of it?
Yeah, absolutely. The forensic side of things, you're going to need more of the advanced degrees. And so I always kind of steer those people who are interested in that way. But this is a great way to kind of dabble in what the bigger picture of law enforcement. And then part of the internship is we actually set up a tour at our regional lab here in Indianapolis, and they get to talk to scientists of all the different sections. They get to talk with the lab manager. They break down some cases. It's really usually a very fun day. And then they get a tour of the lab as well.
So if somebody is interested in an internship, where can they get more information?
Yeah, absolutely. So just like Dean said, everything one-stop shop, indianatrooper.com. Once they get there, if they go to career opportunities, then internship program, everything that they need as far as information and the actual link to the application is on there. And we are accepting applications for our spring internship. So this coming spring, through October 23rd.
Okay. So a couple weeks left still to get that application in there. But back on the recruiting side of it, Dean, let's talk about the types of folks we're looking for, because oftentimes I hear you say it, we're not looking for perfect people. We're looking for people who want to learn the job.
Right. We're looking for honesty. It's integrity. You either have integrity or you don't. And that's what we're looking for. And a great example is like what happened, I'll use what happened just recently in Florida. With the hurricane and stuff. We're looking for those people that are ordinary John Q. citizen, male, female, that are down there right now, their own time, trying to help people, trying to find people, whether it be they're trying to find a lost pet or a person. The state police, we've kind of taken on a new mentality. We used to have the warrior mentality. And don't get me wrong, we can still be warriors when we need to be, but we're more guardians now. It's more a guardian type mentality. And that's a person we're looking for. So it's kind of neat. We've had everything from people that stock shelves at Walmart to a guy that works security. I think the neatest part about what Katie's done is, we all get in that position where, God, if I was in charge, I would do this or I would change this. Well, Katie was an intern. And then all of a sudden she got put in charge of developing an internship program. So I can assure you that when she became an intern, it was nothing like it is now. And I talked to so many young kids that are doing an internship with a company and their job's pulling paper clips and they're alphabetizing this or numeric this. Ours is not like that.
Yeah, ours is very immersive.
Oh my goodness. It is a total, let's put it this way. We require, is it 160?
160 hours over the course of the semester.
And then, was it last semester or semester before, we had a female that was an intern, and at the end, how many hours did she have in?
I don't remember specifically which one you're talking about, but I did just last week do an exit interview from the summer intern. Yes, exit interview in September, because he was so gung-ho and kept going. He had almost 300 hours at the end of it.
You're only required to do 161. You're not getting paid,
yeah,
but you are getting college credit. But he didn't get any extra credit for doing extra, and when you ask why, it was a blast. Oh my gosh, I never knew troopers did that.
That's great. And it's a great way to introduce yourselves to the folks that maybe you'll be working with
Absolutely.
in the future. Familiar faces. You kind of learn how operations work on the day-to-day. I remember before I became a trooper, we couldn't do ride-alongs with troopers, but I did a lot of ride-alongs with local police agencies, and that just simple things like learning TIN codes and signals, and you just get familiar with the lingo, and I think that really helps.
Yeah, what's amazing with the people we're interviewing, we're starting to interview the actual recruits, people that get hired by state police. We're finding that the percentage of people that were interns is pretty high. Mm-hmm. And the ride-along was in the 80 percentile, I believe. It was high 80s. People have done a ride-along, not with other police departments, but with the Indiana State Police. Yeah. And I do want to lay something out right now. You do not have to have law enforcement experience to be an Indiana State Trooper. We get that so many times where, don't I need to be a sheriff's deputy or a city police officer first? And I mean, everyone knows we're the best. But no, we'll take you right out and we're going to train you the way. I was kidding about the best, or was I? Well, anyway, we're going to train you. So you're not bringing any bad habits to us, because we're going to train you from start. Our academy's no joke. It's a tough academy, but we're going to give you all the tools in your tool belt to make you an incredible Indiana State Trooper.
And that is, and so Katie, we send people to the website to get that information, but how can somebody do a ride along if they're interested in doing a ride along? What are the requirements? Because you don't necessarily have to be a college student or anything specific to do a ride along.
Yeah, the ride alongs are really pretty open. We have kind of revamped how we're doing the ride along application too. So now if you get on indianatrooper.com, again, we're trying to push one-stop shop here. You can actually click career opportunities and ride along and go ahead and submit a real quick application, and then sign a waiver and attach that to your application. It's taking about 2 to 4 weeks to get those processed right now. But once, as part of that, you can submit what district or what area you want to complete your ride along in. Yeah. And we'll get that processed and we'll get you out to those districts so that they can get that scheduled for you.
And I know I can speak for my district, but probably around the state too, is we can accommodate any schedule. Somebody says, hey, I can only ride for 4 hours on this date at this time. We'll probably be able to make it
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's a 24/7 job. So absolutely.
And so I would encourage folks to do those ride alongs, even if you're not sure if you want to be a police officer or not. You have to be 18 years old, and come out and we'll put you in the passenger seat with a trooper, and you can get a different perspective.
Yes, yeah. And back to the internships also, that's a pretty flexible. There are a couple hard dates, but if you're, people work, they have class, so they're pretty flexible depending on the district you go to about when you can get your hours in. So both great programs we offer.
Yeah, and so, we talk about all the great things that the Indiana State Police has, but let's just talk about a few of the opportunities that we do offer, because there's been several times in my career I can remember working the Super Bowl, the Indy 500, or something like that, where I literally stop in my tracks and say, I can't believe I'm getting paid to do this right now. Like, just the amazing things that I've gotten to see and do in my career. So everything. We have people that want to go out and be patrol officers, patrol troopers for their entire career, or within a few years they're in investigations. And so just talk about some of the specialties that we have and some of the different branches, which it's almost infinite of what you can do.
Yeah, it's depending on what your passion is. It really, Katie and I both were in narcotics for years. Now we're both in HR. If your passion is motorcycles, we have the motorcycle patrol right now. We've got aviation. If you like to travel, I always tell everybody, get on Governor Security. He's making the world tour. He's making tour all over the United States. So it's our guys that are getting out of the military, they kind of like that rush and go, go, go. Maybe SWAT's what they want to do. But it's really neat. And other than the Indianapolis area, I always say you're kind of almost self-employed as far as you've got to wake up, find something to do that day, because you're probably not going to have a lot of accidents if you're out in the country or the rural area in southern Indiana. Mm-hmm. So, okay, we have a problem with methamphetamine or we have a problem with heroin. Well, I know it's being, imported to this county from Indianapolis or from Louisville or whatever. I'm going to hit the main thoroughfares there and try to put a dent in it, or if there's burglaries or whatever. So it's kind of cool. And the things we offer, you can do anything. I mean, you really can. So it's exciting. The best part about state police is I've been doing it now 32 years. God, I sound like the old guy. I guess I am the old guy. So no 2 days in 32 years has ever been the same. Yeah. Not even close. And that is probably the most excitement that I look forward to every day. You don't know what tomorrow's going to lead.
And speaking of excitement, we have a group of rookies right now. They're in training. It's called field training. And tomorrow is the day that they get issued their brand new Dodge Charger. That's a big incentive for the ISP.
It's huge. Absolutely.
Awesome.
I wish I got a brand new car when we graduated. What an amazing day. I still remember that day for me. I'm sure you guys do as well.
I remember the media was there and they had me turn my lights on as I was leaving. And, I got down to 21st and Post Road and people are getting out of my way. I thought, God, they like this car. And I looked down and my lights are still on.
Yeah.
So, I remember that day vividly.
Yeah,
so it was awesome.
It's such an eerie feeling when you pull out of that parking lot at 21st and Post Road and you look over and there's no FTO sitting in the seat anymore.
You're on your own.
But what an honor it is, too.
Oh, it's incredible.
It's just the culmination of everything you've been to that moment. It all comes to a point in there. But our Lieutenant Watson always tells our new troopers, it doesn't mean you're finished. You're still learn every single day. You still train every single day. This is just the beginning.
It's a neat step in their careers.
Yeah, so very exciting. So again, if you're interested in becoming an Indiana State Trooper, or somebody, a neighbor, somebody that goes to your church or you work with, and you think, I think that person has what it takes, direct them to the website, www.indianatrooper.com, and get a hold of one of the recruiters and just allow us to have a conversation with them.
Absolutely, yeah. And there's a recruiting phone number. Call it. It's directed to my cell phone, and I'll answer, and we'll get you hooked up with any questions you have, and an incredible, rewarding career.
One of the cool things that people may not know, Katie, is our age requirement, 39. So maybe
39 and 364 days.
Yeah, so maybe you're already established into a career, but you're looking for a change, or maybe you've done a 20-year military career, but you're still 37, 38 years old. We're certainly able to still make you an Indiana State Trooper.
Absolutely, yeah. It affords us a lot of flexibility with that age because a lot of other agencies are younger than that. So you can have a second career, and it can be an amazing career.
Yeah. And so if you're wondering what our standards are, that's all listed on indianatrooper.com. You can see what it takes. You can the process itself is written test, oral interview, physical agility, psychological exam, polygraph. I'm sure I'm missing a couple things, but
if you follow us on social media, what we'll do is you're going to see where we're going to have some
hiring seminars.
The hiring seminars.
Yeah.
So and we break down the whole process. We break down what's going to happen to you, how to get hired. We're going to work with you. We want to work with people on their interviewing skills. Just be smart about the decisions you make between now and then. Marijuana, you have to be marijuana free for 3 years. So don't go to a party, or even if you go to Colorado where it's legal.
Right.
Please don't do a gummy. Don't do pass on the wedding cake if you're out there for a wedding, just in case. But be smart about what you're doing. So,
and it's about making good decisions. And every high school student or younger that approaches me and says, I want to be a police officer, what do? I said, the number one thing is start making good decisions.
Absolutely.
Because one wrong decision now could lead you down a path that maybe be hard to recover from. So, it's simple as making good decisions when you can.
And the good thing is a lot of these are time relevant. So, if you did make that mistake when you were 20, you're still going to be eligible at 23. So it's not an end all be all. So
sure.
We talked about state police, talked about that. Don't forget, we also have several of our professional positions that are available. Dispatchers. Indianapolis is in need of dispatchers. Yes. And so we're excited about trying to fill those positions.
Certainly a cool opportunity. So I want to thank our guests for coming in today, Sergeant Dean Wildauer and Sergeant Katie Salzman. Always a pleasure to have you. Always looking for good people. Even though we're not actively accepting applications, we are still out there hitting it, looking for those next folks that want to be Indiana State Troopers. So www.indianatrooper.com will get you all the information that you need. Everybody have a great day and buckle up.
Hi, my name is Alyssa Partica. I'm a sergeant with the Indiana State Police, and I work as a crime scene investigator. To become a state trooper, after I applied, I did some testing through the selection process, background tests, written tests, things like that. And I was fortunate enough to be selected to go through the 76 Police Academy. From there, after graduation, I was assigned to the Lowell District, where I patrolled for 5 years until I was promoted to the rank of crime scene investigator, which is a sergeant. Before I became a trooper, I attended IUPUI College for 4 years, where I obtained degrees in forensic science, chemistry, and a minor in biology. 2 weeks after graduation, I was in the State Police Academy. I was really lucky to get selected and attend to where the timing worked out so well. I had some odd jobs. I worked as a sandwich artist at Subway. I sold firearms at Gander Mountain in the meantime while I was in school. They've all changed. I don't really have a favorite anymore, like turkey ham, so cliche, or chicken. I chose to go there because of their forensics program. At the time, it was one of the few colleges in Indiana that actually had an accredited program, and exactly what I wanted to. My goal was to become a CSI, so it was really important to me to choose a college that had a really good forensics program. I think by obtaining the degrees that I did and studying in the field of forensics at IUPUI really helped me kind of gain an edge to become a CSI and learn some of the background material that I needed before the on-the-job training and the training through the state police. I learned about the ISP internship through Career Day at IUPUI. I remember when I was on campus one day, there were a bunch of recruiters from tons of different career paths, and I was kind of drawn to the state police booth. I saw it as a way that I could hopefully one day become a CSI, but also dabble in other opportunities within the agency and the department as a whole. It's one career, but there's so many opportunities within the state police. So I was really drawn to that, and then I started the internship shortly thereafter. I feel that the internship really prepared me for the police academy. I had no idea what to expect. I didn't have any relatives or family members that were police officers before me, so I was kind of going in blind in a way. But the internship really showed me what day-to-day policing is like as a state trooper, and all of the opportunities and specialties and things you can sort of get your hands in as a trooper that are a little bit different than just everyday traffic stops or road patrol. I saw tons of diversity and a lot of different aspects of the agency, but I also learned how important it is to be versatile and confident in what you do. State troopers can handle calls from crashes to shootings, domestics. Every day is different, and typically they need to handle those problems on their own. So I really took pride in the fact that ISP had so much integrity and the agency was just so professional. As an intern, I was able to experience different things, such as ride-alongs with a variety of troopers, some interested in criminal patrol, some traffic patrol. I was also able to attend a SWAT range day and take a look at the Indiana State Police Crime Lab, where the forensic scientists do their analysis, and also meet some of the crime scene investigators and see their work. It was also a pretty neat experience to attend the Indy 500 and be able to stand on the bricks at the start-finish line when the fighter jets flew over. Recently, I was able to get in touch with an applicant. So there was a female from my area that had applied to the state police, and she was torn between two agencies. After talking with her at length, we both kind of made a pros and cons list of where she would go and what she would gain from each agency. And fortunately for her, I think she feels that she's made the right decision in choosing the Indiana State Police, and now she's here at District 13, the Lowell District, and it's been a really rewarding experience to see her go through her field training and take the steps to becoming a trooper. Policing can be a really trying career, but it's also one of the most rewarding careers. It's moments when you see a little kid as you're driving by in your police car and he stops to wave at you, or somebody stops to thank you for your service, that really make me look back, and I never regretted becoming a state trooper. I think that it's a very, very rewarding career, and I challenge people who can do the right thing at the right time, even when no one's watching, to take that oath and become a police officer. I think there are actually two moments that come to mind that are probably the most memorable if I had to pick. The first was when I was on patrol and I was approached at a red light by an elderly man. He seemed kind of lost and confused and didn't really know where he was, so he had pulled into a parking lot and I stopped to speak with him. He told me he had been driving all day and he wasn't really sure where he was, but he was trying to get to Michigan. He didn't have a cell phone and he had run out of money. The more we talked, the more I realized that something wasn't right. So it ended up that he was actually a missing endangered person, and he had been missing for 2 days from Illinois. I was able to get in contact with his family, and I drove him down to the state police post and waited with him until they arrived. And it had to be one of the most heartwarming moments and most memorable moments of my career when they arrived, and they were so happy and thankful to be reunited with him. The second memorable experience I had as a police officer was when I made a traffic stop that ended with the driver being taken into custody. But a few months later, she found me at a gas station and she began to talk to me about how life-changing that moment was when I first met her. That the conversation we had really made an impact on her in one of the most negative times in her life. At the time, she didn't have a license and she just couldn't get ahead. We talked about how she could change things and how she was able to make her life better and start with getting a license to help her out. She was so proud to tell me that she did finally get her license and things were turning around. And she was just so thankful. Even on one of the most negative days of her life when she first met me, she made it a point to remember me and come back to tell me how happy and thankful she was for that experience. This really showed me how important it is to be human as a police officer, and that even these small interactions really make an impact on some of the people that we deal with. Indiana State Police. One badge, endless opportunities.